Welcome back to this week's episode of Toys on Tap. We are so pumped to bring on MVH, Mutant Vinyl Hardcore, for his third episode. This episode kind of takes a look at the background or the more meta, the ideas of what it looks like after all this career and everything. And we are so excited that he is willing to share and was willing to share 3 weeks worth of content with us. And so we can't thank Rich enough. If you want more Toys on Tap, you can follow, rate, review wherever you get podcasts. You can help us out. Review this podcast. It gets more eyes, more ears, everything to Toys on Tap, and it costs you nothing. You want to support the show even more, you can follow us on all socials at Toys on Tap. And if you want to jump on and support us even more, patreon.com/Toys on Tap. That's where you find the extra stuff when we post it. Now let's get to this week's episode of Toys on Tap. I'm pumped. This is episode 3 of 3. Kind of the more philosophical one. That kind of it's going to take some reflecting today and take some take a look at lessons learned and that kind of stuff. So I'm pumped about that. But yeah, people are loving these episodes.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, everybody that's I've spoken to, they're they've said, oh, that they've enjoyed it. So I mean, I think it's good too for some documentation, just for, especially at this point, at least my thoughts, and I can always reflect back on it and go over it and see if what I said was accurate, or is it holding up. What I it's funny. I mean,
Yeah.
I realized I am absolutely terrible with my dates. Yeah, I was going through my shop and I found flyers from old shows, like the Super 7 show, and I saw that Krullis, that release date was 2012. I was like, really? It was that long ago? So to everybody that's listening, take my dates with a grain of salt. You might have to step each date back a year there, a couple of years there. I thought the dates were accurate, but it could be anywhere in the 2008 to 2012 bracket for the beginning stuff, and then 2012 to current for the stuff you've seen right before the pandemic. And I think the pandemic too was kind of what's thrown me all off, because it seems like for everybody, like that period in time is like a time warp, right? I mean, like, here we are, 2026, and it's 6 years past, and I'm still we still talk about it like it was yesterday.
I mean, what's weird about the 2020 thing? I don't do conspiracies or any of that stuff,
I
but
do.
there is one conspiracy that is there's one conspiracy that is it's so crazy because it says something like after 2020, because it sent all of our nervous systems in such a shock that the world just moves so much faster now.
It feels like it, man. It's strange. I mean, I used to break my father's stones because of everything to him was like, it's just 10 years ago. I'm like, dude, it's way longer than 10 years ago. And now I'm doing it my damn self. I'm like, come on. My wife was even break
Yeah.
my balls about it. She goes, "You sound like your dad." I'm like, damn. But yeah, so the dates I'm saying on things, they're close, but it can vary, by a year or 2 years in either direction from the day I said. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter ultimately at the end of the day, because it happened so long ago. We're looking at beginning of when I started something, and who actually really you know writes down the exact dates of this stuff, like when I started this or that. I mean, because I didn't expect to be where I am. You know what I mean? So I really didn't document very well.
Yeah, I mean, all those dates and stuff, you've been in it for so long. So of course those dates, are going to be hard to track, but, let's introduce you just like the other 2 episodes.
Mhm.
Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
I am Rich Montaneri of Mutant Vinyl Hardcore. I make sofubi. I just an overall artist, a collector, and father, and husband.
Heck yeah. We're kind of going to talk through, I mean, I want you to kind of reflect over your
Mm,
career. I think that's the thing that I really want to
Sure.
do today with you
Sure.
because I think when people interview you, they probably just ask you directed questions like we've been doing in the past couple weeks.
Hmm.
Um, but I kind of want to leave this open and broad question for you.
Sure.
When you look over your career over
Mm,
the last however many years,
mm.
what are some of the like first things that start to pop up that either fill you with joy, places you wish you learned things quicker, things you wish you did differently, all of those things. Let's start tapping into those.
I think overall, I mean, I think this whole conversation, from the first ep to the second ep, we kind of touched a little bit of everything, and and doing so, it has definitely helped me reflect on my own, you know, career, and
Yeah.
this just how long I've been doing this for. I mean, like time goes by, it does go by very fast. I mean, like COVID aside, even before that, it still goes by pretty fast. So it's in hindsight, it's hard to say like what would I do differently. I think everything has its purpose for where I am right now. Um, you kind of have to. You have nobody really wants to go through this shit, right? I mean, but like in
Yeah.
reality, like the whole all the suffering or all the hardships or all the struggles and whatever it is, like you have to go through it so that you can appreciate what you do get out of it. Hopefully, if it does go your way, you if unless you have those struggles, you won't understand just how special it is the good times are. I mean,
Yeah.
there's this, I kind of I'm kind of always contemplating this stuff anyways. I mean, I'm when I work, again, I'm alone. I have my own studio. I'll listen to a podcast or sometimes just music or nothing. And that's when, I get to really think about things. And that's how, I spend my time, planning for the future, or, going over what I've done in the past to help do what I'm working on that project. And I think a lot more people can really benefit from, I don't want to say isolation, but a little bit of isolation when you're, in the
Yeah.
boredom of that. Because that's, especially with today's world, everybody is so glued to their phones, so glued to, not being present in the moment. And it's that boredom is what, when you really do find the creativity.
Yeah, we're in such a weird spot where it's like you have to feed this dragon, this demon that
Mm,
like social media is, which
mm,
then causes you to live and be invested in your phone. And I love the idea of just like you need to be isolated every once in a while to kind of
mm.
think through your own life. Like don't take in what anyone else says, just kind of go over and process your own shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem is everybody kind of everything you have in your life is kind of, just a product of what you put into it. So even with social media, I mean, I don't I don't demonize it because, it is what you is. So if you're just scrolling on Instagram looking at videos of puppies and kittens all day long, you're gonna see nothing but puppies and kittens. If you're pulled into the negativity and looking for like, you know, whether it be politics, religion, like whatever it is, you can easily be sucked into that too, and then your whole life becomes that. So it's just really like you have to have some kind of discipline to be like, I'm not, like I'm not doing that today. And I think that's what's a lot of us have kind of lost along the way is like the discipline to be like, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, so just being in that, and every time I've gone to Japan, but this last time being there for a month, it really was, like I kind of it's definitely I feel I hope I should say I hope it's kind of like a line in the sand career wise for me, because
Hmm.
there was the very first time that I got to really, ingrain myself in the culture, and just be I was there alone. I didn't have to worry about what's going on with the day-to-day life. I was just there, focused on building relationships, and then looking for inspiration for what I wanted to do, making, toys and design going forward. So, I mean, like with that alone, like I was on social media minimally. I didn't have access to American TV and news and all that. I mean, like what so every morning I get up, I have, I help my wife or watch my wife get the kids ready for school. And then we have coffee, right? Yeah, and then we have coffee, and like we have that time, we sit there and like for the longest time we would just watch, we put the news on in the background, and like everybody, man, you have your coffee, then you watch something on TV, and especially the news, and you get enraged, and you're like, this is bullshit, and yada yada yada. And then your whole day kind of starts off on that headspace, right? But like when I was away, didn't have that. So for a full month, I was kind of like, I didn't hear politics, I didn't hear the arguments, I didn't hear like just the arguing over every possible topic you can think of that is social media, and it was nice. So like as I come back home, I was like, I want to try to continue that on. So like in the morning time, we don't even watch the news now. I put on like Animal Planet and put on like Dave Attenborough, and like I'm gonna sip my
Yeah.
coffee and talk to you and listen to this guy because he's much more calming to listen to. And then by the time we're done, I'm ready to get on my day. I'm like, all right, the negativity is not there. And then like you can't help, you don't want to have the, put your head in the sand and not pay attention to what's going on around you. So like it's gonna get to you one way or the other somehow through social media and clips. But I think if this, a lot more people kind of tried at least a little bit throughout the day to not engage with everything that's kind of being force fed on them, it would be so much more healthy to your headspace, your creativity, your relationships around you. I mean, like, so like, I mean, this trip was one of those things, and not just for it being career wise, but just in a headspace. I'm like, I want to keep this. I mean, like I've never had that a month where, I had that. Like not, I mean, like, and I feel I'm totally blessed. And I know like this is not the average situation for most people. So I know that everybody can't do that, but like there's got to be a way in which you can say, all right, I can slowly start to try to disengage from all this negativity around me.
Let's pause just a dang minute. If you're wondering where is Toys on Tap going to be this year, we are going to Collected Con. We will be in Pasadena Designer Con. We will be at Las Vegas Designer Con. We had 4 shows this year that we're really excited to be a part of. Indie Toy LA happened in February, and it was an amazing show. So we're so pumped. So if you want to come say hi, come see what we're doing, come pick up work, do all the cool stuff, come see us at one of the shows. We have a booth. We would love to see you. Yeah. I think this is a good pivot in talking about Japan as a whole and what it
Mm,
kind of did for you. I mean, you've talked
sure.
about going there over and over again, and
Mm,
that you've been there multiple times. But
mm,
this one has kind of set something different, even in how you're
yeah.
communicating while you're there, when you get back, even in how you're communicating in a future career.
Yeah.
What is that shift, if you can articulate it?
I mean, when we're going through this career here, and you're everything you kind of like, especially like but I can only speak for Americans, right? Or somebody that's not
Yeah.
living in Japan per se. You create everything outside looking in, right? So like there's some toys that like I've only ever seen photographs of, and I was able to see them that way. And you kind of create characters based on that. When you finally see them in person, you're like, that doesn't even look like the photo, right? So what I based like this character on doesn't even necessarily look like the toy I based it on, because it's just so there's that aspect of this not being around toy shops that sell this kind of stuff. Then what else? I mean, there's the social aspect of it where, you know, again, like being out here, you're not there with other the possibility of interacting with other toy makers that are making the same kind of art that you're making. So you don't get
Yeah.
to either, form that community, pick their brains, even if you're not like just being in the air. So you can even go to shows where it's like, I I I I don't necessarily have to be friends with this person, but like I can at least go see their work in person. And that would
Hmm.
helps you have a better understanding for it. So like being there for this career that I chose, even like if you're looking to make soft vinyl toys like kaiju as a as a full time kind of career, or at least what you're going to invest your time into, it was it's very helpful. I mean, I over the very beginning of my career, I didn't have that cash to do both. Where I wasn't, I was either I had to either pick production or go on vacation. And
Hmm.
year after year, I was like production, 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 production. So like I didn't get to go to Japan until yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. And it was just like
Okay.
again, pandemic came. I was like, like all those years where I was like, I'll make it next year. I'll make it next year. I'll make it next year. After that was over, I was like, I am not gonna waste any time. Like I'm not wasting any time. I'm gonna make sure like I'm gonna find a way to get paid, put the money aside to pay for these trips. And I'm glad that I did. And then like it's weird because, of course I would like to have gone there sooner, but going there now after like again, I've had successes and failures, and going there now, I'm definitely more focused on like what what am I looking for? Like what exactly am I looking for? And then like that being now is more like I'm looking for the relationships between other artists, the factories. Just this is where I spent a large portion of my life investing into, and at least now I know what I'm looking for. When earlier in my career, it would have been like, yeah, it's cool, man. I'm gonna go see this, but like I don't think I would have been as focused or
Yeah.
just in that headspace where now I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too what was interesting about this is you even had shifts outside of that were like the
Mm.
food sucks in America. The
Yes.
government, like,
Yeah.
it was just like,
You name
and
it.
it was something that we watched, like, kind of clicked over, and it was like, oh, you're eventually gonna move. Like, that's what's happening.
Yeah. 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 I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love America. This is my home, and I'm very pro American. But
Yeah.
career wise, that's that is the place where I I I I need to dedicate that time to, because that is the place where my career comes from, right? So I'm
Hmm.
American by my culture, but by my career, it's all stems from Japan. So it's interesting now, especially having the time to have reflected on these things over the years, growing as a man, as a husband, a father, seeing what I really want to do. Going again, we talk about buying things going into the future. I definitely have a clearer picture of what I'm looking for again in my life. I mean, like I think it feels like I'm 47, right? I mean, we all kind of go through
Hmm.
these phases. Like it feels like every decade it at least for me is this all been drastically different. 20s, 30s, coming to the end of my 40s. That's a 30-year window where like each 10 years was these massive pieces of my life that are completely different in what I've
Hmm.
learned, what my goals were. Like, earlier on, the goals are today what I would be laughing at, because like that's just not what I'm looking for. And again, like now looking into the future, like I'm I'm looking to go my 50s, my 60s, hopefully 70s, whatever you want to name it, going forward. That's a long time. Like, what do I want to do? Like, I mean, my kids will get older. They're not going to stay babies forever. They're like my littlest is 6. So like
Hmm.
it's you got this time is going to pass by, and I like to set that up so that you know as I grow older, I like to have that I like to transition to that more mentor. role where I can help other artists, you know, get to where they want to be as well. I mean, like there was a lot I didn't get help with, and it was, very frustrating, especially with things that could have been helped that people chose not to. And I want to try to help other artists coming up do, because I do feel like this is a career path for a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people could be doing this full time. Is clearly it's not for everybody, but I think there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that could and should be doing this. And I think it's whatever I've learned, I like to try to start going in that direction. Uh, as an artist, I mean, like I see that you know I love now, the idea of doing, IP work, my own original work, and then also accepting that it's okay to have, you know, production done that's not all by your own hands. I don't have to kill
Yeah.
myself. When earlier I'd be like, no, it has to all be done by me. Like, no, I've gotten more comfortable. Like, oh, no, there are factories out there that can accomplish what I'm looking to accomplish. This is all possible. I don't have to drive myself into the ground anymore. I can have the things I want, and it'll be good. It will give me the opportunity to grow. And this, yeah. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I think what's interesting too when we think about that is like you've been in this scene for so long
Yeah,
and you have been able to and now are like really able to be kind of picky and choose whether or
yeah,
not you want to work with certain people or
yeah.
choose whether you want to work with certain brands and and we kind of talked about like the reality of like your goals or what you thought were your goals were probably
Hmm.
either not the direction you want to go or really
Yeah.
small goals compared to what you want to accomplish now.
Right. Yeah.
So kind of like in being in this for so long, what's it like now to be able to choose? You're at at this fork in the road where you get to choose which
Yeah.
direction your career goes, and you get
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. That's for sure. I mean, because I can see where some people can get drunk off the power of being, I don't have to do X, right?
Right.
And or saying like I have enough people wanting what I have that I can demand X. Right? I mean, like it's this. I can see how it's easy for some people to fall into that trap. But again, going through the things I've gone through, I can recognize that it is a trap, and now I try to help others see that as well. That is, does it have to be these weights?
Yeah. I mean, that's the you have a gift now
Yeah,
of
yeah,
being like in this for so long where you now get to see like, oh, this is going to damage or
yeah, yeah,
make me do well. And so that's, I mean,
yeah,
an amazing thing. Looking over because we've seen your career as if you're doing your own stuff by hand. You have the factory stuff
yeah,
going, and then we
yeah,
see these collaborations that do happen. I've seen
yeah,
toys pop up. I mean, you've worked with Unbox. I've seen toys pop up at
mhm,
like Kaiju Fornia, toys
yeah,
that were at Designer Con. How are you
yeah,
now functionally working within these collaborations at this point in your career? Is this something that you're seeking out? Is it like
yeah.
these are
I think
people that
I
I really want to work with?
I think so. I mean, like I think with every collaboration I've had, there's been something to learn from it. Some positive, some negative, but they all kind of help you see everything broadly, right? Like I'm able to say, again, I have more patience with things, but yeah, no, I am able to know more now. Like, all right, this is the kind of person I want to work with. This is what my ultimate goal from this is. I know that how to treat collaborations and talk to the person I'm working with, that I can make it so that they understand that like all of the choices that I'm looking for are clearly on the table, so that they're not insulted if I come out and say something, either it would be a critique or how I want to handle releases or end it or start it, however it is. Like I have a better way of approaching it now. I have a little more patience with people. And I'm also aware of my flaws and like the mistakes that I made, and like I'm more open to not getting so hot headed with critiques of myself. I mean, like I'm also flawed. You know what I mean? So like I need to I've learned how to handle that too. So like when I'm working with somebody, I can even recognize, oh, I'm starting to go down this path of I'm the problem here. I don't want to be the problem to that person. So like it helps you teach you how to go through this. And again, like with this knowledge, it helps me pick and who choose who I want to work with, what I want to do, and how to enjoy this more. I mean, because I think overall in the end, like I hope to do this until the day I die. And I don't want
Mhm.
to be struggling with the same questions over and over. Like, why does this keep happening? So like
Yeah.
I can now pick, and like I can, the people that I want to be happy with, whether it be the artists or the factory. I want I'm trying to make and do my best to make sure that the people I choose to work with in any capacity is a healthy relationship.
Here we go. This is what I know you are waiting to hear, project updates on the things that we've got going on with Toys on Tap. Firstly, we got two new claw colorways that we are so excited for. We're doing an amazing like blue gray look one, and so we're really excited about that. And then we're bringing the OG colorway with the green and the yellow nails. We thought that those two would be really cool. When they come in, 25 will go online, and the other 50 of each will just go at the shows, and that's where you will have to get them. We still have some of the other ones. I think they're sold out online, but if you missed your chance, you will see them at conventions. So we're really excited. Queso Jones ships this week. I'm really excited to have that. We've been waiting a long time. It's been a long process, but we are so excited. The packaging is here. We are just waiting for the toy, and then my wife and I will be cracking into shipping, and you will get those. The last KMB is in the middle of production. They are starting to pull the vinyl, which we're really excited about. Stay tuned on that. We will have more updates coming. And our next Kickstarter that will launch with our friends over at Depressed Monsters, Mr. Ryan. We are so pumped to bring the first ever Yerman soft vinyl toy to life. We cannot believe that we get to partner with an artist that we absolutely look up to. So if you want to stay up on any of those things, what we're doing, that's what's going on with Toys on Tap. We have a newsletter and there's updates on the Instagram and all kinds of good stuff. So thank you for all the support. Yeah, which sets a good tone, right? Like it
Yeah.
sets a tone, especially someone who's in your position. You're setting a
Yeah.
tone for a community at large with how you
Yeah.
interact with people. And I've told people before, like we don't need a lot of assholes in this. Like if
No.
there's one or two, that's fine, but we don't need a lot of them. We can't survive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yes, clearly we don't want that. I mean, people are people though, and
Yeah.
I think it's everybody's perspective too is different. Like the people that are assholes, their perspective is like, I'm not the asshole, you're the asshole. So it's like, just again,
Yeah.
having that perspective, like, all right, at least I can, being an artist looking at the community that collects my stuff, I can help even them navigate. Like, hey man, that guy's not such a bad dude. You're just not, you don't gotta be friends with that person, but like understand where they're coming from. That can help people. And I've done that in the past too. Like I've had fans that are of mine that get into issues with each other. I'm like, guys, like this is, you're just misunderstanding each other here, and then try to help people work it out. So like in the, again, with the role I play, whether it being the trying to help the community aspect of it, my fans, people I work with, it all comes as like this massive picture.
Yeah. Let's talk through some goals for MVH.
Sure.
We see that over the course of a career, you kind of get to do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
There's two lanes that kind of happen. Either you stay in your lane, you perfect your craft, you paint all
Yeah.
those things, or you start producing all these different like mediums of
Yeah.
stuff, plushies and all that. And
Mhm.
you've stayed with soft vinyl,
Yeah.
and you have been doing it by hand, doing all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then working with factories on larger stuff. What are some of the larger goals that you have going forward? Because I mean, you're right, you're closing in on 50. You want to do
Yeah.
this till the day you die. What are we
Yeah.
chasing after before we die?
I think for me at this stage, it's I see the appeal of getting into licensing and IP work. It's
Yeah.
it's I mean, you look at every contemporary large artist, they all in some form of
Hmm.
way are doing some kind of it's not just them solely doing their own thing. They all kind of somehow, some
Yeah.
way are working with some other brand. And I'm just like, it makes sense to help, if regardless. I mean, I mean, like, if you're looking to start like a brand, or you're the artist, your real name, and that is your brand, either way is a brand. You know what I mean? Like, how you want to, no matter how you look at
Yeah.
it, you're going to be known as a brand. I don't, that's just what it is. So, I mean, like, to help you spread your brand, if you're looking to be in any career, it doesn't matter if it's art or if it's, you name it, you have to keep, there is a growth that has to keep happening. You can't stagnate in any aspect. And I think, uh, for me per se, being, doing original artwork for such a long time, I can translate that over to IP now a little more organically, and then help get fresh eyes to my original works. And it just keeps ping ponging off of each other. Like, I create original work, I can translate that to IP. The IP might inspire me to create new original work, and then I can keep spreading that back to the IP, and it can keep going back and forth. And then, like, so as I get older, getting into more IP work and licensing will allow me to have more time to do the original work, right? So, like, I can get income coming in through royalties or however I want to handle it with the licensing, and that will give me the time to do more sculpture work, or get back to doing canvas painting, or whatever that itch
Yeah.
is I need to scratch.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it is weird that like there's a trajectory that happens
Yeah.
um more and more. You see it in large scale. You see that people that start with resin, they
Yeah.
eventually move to soft vinyl or sofubi,
Yeah.
and then they move on from there. And people that
Mhm.
are in soft vinyl or sofubi,
Yeah.
because we love kaiju or love what
Yeah.
we do, we inevitably want to do some kind of IP work with
Yeah.
Toho or
Mhm.
whoever. And there's just something. It also is just like a notch on the belt. Like, look at what I've
But
done. It feels
yeah,
good.
it's kind of all of that. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, over the course of time, it's when you look at, like, the people that have come before you, they've all kind of eventually gotten to that same conclusion, right? I think it's just, uh, uh, we all eventually get to this place. It's just some faster, some shorter than others. Like, it depends on, what the drive of the artist, or the luck of the artist as well. I mean, like, there's some people that come out the gate and they just nail it, and some people it takes them 30, 40 years before they get recognized. I mean, like, and it's just, when it's your time, it's your time. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's not, you might not ever
Yeah.
hit it, but, like, I think it's, but for me, per se, like, this is clearly, like, my goal going forward. Like, I like to get into more licensing. That's what I'm trying to do. And you said about, like, Toho, like, when, with what what I do, I mean, like, film wise, Godzilla is for sure the holy grail of this toy art form. And then, like, for me lately, I've been going into more like the TV series. Like, I've been really, like, heavy into Ultra Q. Like, just, I mean, I'm a big fan of, I watched I love Twilight Zone, like the original Twilight Zone. I love black and white stuff. So, like, that that period of time, like in the '60s, man, like, I don't know what was in the water back then, but, like, they just nailed it. And
Yeah.
there's something that it translates so well to, you know, indie stuff, because when you look at, like, if we just came into, like, the world with the way movies are now, like, the you couldn't replicate that. But, like, we can go back to the crude stuff that was made in like the 60s. Like, oh, I can make my own version of that because like it was so crude then. You can kind of mimic it now. A lot of people can in their own homes. So that kind of leaves the possibilities where like you can kind of make that. You're capable of making that. Like that, like the so it's cool to be able to do that. And it's still something that's very magical about that era periods of pop culture and entertainment that still holds pretty solid today, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a side note, I saw a crazy fact about um Twilight Zone. There was an episode where this guy had two kids and there was a helicopter above them. Well, the helicopter ended up falling and killing them all, which changed child actor stuff for the rest of time. And
Yeah.
like safety and procedures and stuff. So that show's wild. Um yeah, I mean it is crazy to think that like the next step obviously is that, and then it's like you get to this point where it's like now we have all these streams that we're able to travel down. I can
Yeah.
license, I can do my own, and no matter what,
Mm,
people are really going to be excited about what I make because you've put in the time
mm.
and have an audience that is sold on who you are as a person.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I hope so. I mean, like I want I do though. I want the people that, you know, I brought this up before, but I want the people that, are my fans that support me in my work. I want them to feel, you know, happy with what they're spending their money on. So like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
overall, I want that feeling for everybody at every possible level.
Yeah. I mean, if we can talk about the business side for a
Mhm.
second,
Sure.
you doing this, it it's tough, right? Like Toys on Tap is a company and a
Hmm.
business, and
Sure.
we do have income from it, and we do
Sure.
spend, and it functions like a
Hmm.
normal business does. But
Oh.
I don't support my wife and I on
Mhm.
this, and I have another job, and she has a job,
Sure.
and so it's like you're doing a different side where this is your full-time thing. So
Hmm.
even if we're kind of feeling burnt out with toys, or even if that doesn't matter, like you have to kind of keep going. What is that like?
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, if you're doing a job that you
Yeah.
did before it became your job, then
Yeah.
you're still gonna be very happy to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a job, and there's definitely days where I
Mhm.
don't want to do this. But I'm like, things have to get done. And then, you just you the more you can keep pushing forward, you will always find that happy place again. Especially if you had that happy place in this before you did it, it will always be there. You just gotta find it again. You know what I mean? Like I'm I I was a toy collector before became into it. I mean, like it's all these
Yeah.
things as we talked kind of just kept falling in line. And it kind of, in hindsight, it kind of felt like this was my trajectory going back to when I was a child. Like this was bound to happen on a long enough timeline, right? I mean, I'm this at this point of the timeline. I don't know what's going to happen and from now until the day I do die. Like I'm this. I can try to nudge it in different directions, but like the fate of this is going to happen, and I have no control over it. It's just bound to go in that
Yeah.
direction. But like being able to see like the path. So like I don't I don't run out of ideas. It's just most of the time it's just I don't have enough time to do all the ideas. Like I love this stuff. Like I'm and I don't my free time is still me looking for toys. Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
on like all the auction sites and looking for like I have something that I'm collecting now. Like I'm eyeballing every way I can get my hands on these things. So like I started doing that. And it's like I just there's just there's just so much out there. I just when somebody says, "Oh, I can't find anything," I'm like, "How is that possible?" Like there's literally everything you can possibly imagine today. There's some community dedicated to it. There's no way that you should
Yeah.
have no like I don't have no hobbies. I don't have this. How's that possible? How you have no interest? You have nothing. Like there's out of all of the stuff we see today, there's nothing like this. Like I don't know how that's even possible.
Yeah.
So like I mean, I again, I think too, like again, it comes from like social media. It drains people away from actual real life, and a lot of people kind of get wrapped up in it. It's a terrible thing, but it's just I'm trying to raise my kids with the discipline now, especially that I've gained through literally all these different things, especially like even with martial arts. I mean, like like these things actually all matter. So like I'm trying to like instill discipline of like you got to have control over what you put your time and energy into because it all it all will eventually culminate into something. And if you put all this time and energy into doing fucking nothing by like being online and just arguing with people, that's gonna be your fucking career. And like, do you is that what you want to do? Like, no. So I mean, don't I it, the discipline of trying to constantly like look for something that incites you that is there. You just gotta like people can find it. I think everybody can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy when people say like I don't have a hobby. There are people that collect the clips that are on bread. Like people
Yes,
collect those and so
uh,
like
there's
find a
something there.
hobby.
Yes, there's something for you to do.
Yeah.
Like you have to like there's got to be something. And not just getting
Yeah.
high and fucking doing whatever. Like there's stuff to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like I think maybe it's also like I am a little older than you or some other people, and like I come before the YouTube culture, so like I got to see a lot of these things be created, and so like to me, it's still like I, there was a time when you couldn't do this. Like you're doing a podcast right now. I mean, like I'm on a podcast with
Yeah.
you right now. This is as like I was here before that, and I listen to podcasts all the time. I mean, like I'm in my spray booth. I probably consume weekly 12 hours plus of content because I'm in my booth and I'm just spraying away and listening to like podcast
Holy
after
moly.
podcast. So like I consume so much and then like I don't I've it's interesting. There's a lot out there. So having people like yourself that's getting into this lane of podcasting, at least partially dedicated to toys, is there will be a market for that. Though there's collectors out there. You just got to tap into who are they collecting and interviews with them. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
it. So as long as you're in the community of what you're doing, you'll find it. Like if you were a toy podcaster and you're not a toy collector, like you're gonna have a long road ahead of you because you don't know where you're going with this. You know what I mean? But if you're constantly looking to interview people that people actively want to, have put time and effort into or looking to know more about, you'll get the ears. And it's just time of you building up enough podcasts and going, oh, that he has a catalog. I can listen to this one and I can binge 13, 14 hours of other content. It's just of time of building that up.
Oh yeah. Dude, we just hit 5 years this year.
Hmm.
There's so many episodes. There's people that will tell me that like as they're driving to a show or something, they're like listening
Popping on.
to
Yep.
Toys and my first thing is like that's too much of me. Like don't do that. But yeah, you're right. Like it all forms like I tell people like look around. What do you
Hmm.
think that's missing? Go fill that spot.
Yes, that's
Go
that's
do
that's
that.
that's very good advice. I think that's very good advice. Yes.
Um the you've been around so long, and through the last two episodes, we talked about some of the missteps that you kind of
Mhm.
did, and we also got to talk about the reality that like people reach out to you and you respond,
Mhm.
and they're so shocked that you respond, and so to kind of mitigate maybe people that reach out to you as well, I
Yeah.
want you to kind of give some advice to people starting in soft vinyl. Like I know that the scene is so different now than when you started, but if there is things that can be imparted to the next people that are going to keep this up long after we've
Yeah.
gone, What
Yeah,
does that
yeah.
look like?
I mean, I think it's just it really does boil down to an honest to godness love of what you're doing, right? Like
Mhm.
people a lot of times look for like the monetary value of stuff, and they're like, I can pursue a career based on what I perceive can be that number I can get to. But I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer in the whole like if you love it and you really truly love it the money will come in time if it's meant to be. You just gotta push through, right? I mean, to giving
Mhm.
advice to people, like I mean, it's just it's easy to get uh disheartened by like time. It's with any career, it can be grinding, right? I mean, like, and especially like I think a lot of people look at the art field as this it's just art. But no, man, like it's very grinding in many ways, more grinding than, you know, corporate jobs because you're this all kind of falls to you to be everything. You got to be the one that comes up with the stuff. You got to be the one that executes it. You got to be the one that, like you're every department. You're not just that
Yeah.
one position, So like it's definitely challenging to a lot of people, it's daunting. It's like everybody wants it right now. The having the patience. So I mean like most people that start getting into to design work, toy making, and I'm just like, just you have to be a collector in some capacity. You can't just if you're not, you will eventually hate this. I mean, like you're gonna hate the
Mhm.
people. You would hate the day to day thing. If you have to be an addict to this to begin with, and then it won't. It will just kind of you'll keep coming back to it no matter what. So like you really truly had it has to be from the heart, and then it's just you know having the patience, having surrounding yourself with other positive people. I mean, if it's easy to get dragged down by other people going, man, my shit doesn't sell and yours isn't gonna sell. And like it's easy to fall into it. And especially if you have a bad day or a bad sales month, whatever it is, you can easily be like, yeah, man, fuck all these people or fuck all and like it's easy to go down that path. But trying to surround yourself with more positive people, just the constant of like picking yourself up off the floor, dusting yourself off, and just keep going forward. It all builds to a bigger picture. So I mean, it's gonna take time. I mean, I think that's the only way because I get it, man. It's exciting, and you're making things, and you see other makers, and you have like, I want that too. I want to be there too. It's you gotta kinda approach it like what your destiny is gonna be is your own. No one's gonna have the same career as this guy or that guy. You have to like you can emulate it and say like, "I would like to be like this guy," but you gotta accept your reality, and it's gonna be different than theirs, and that's your reality,
Yeah.
and you gotta learn how to be happy within that, and I think that's the thing, man, like, there's so much jealousy out there because of somebody getting something that somebody else didn't get. And I think this is a part of human nature. I don't blame people for the feelings they feel like. I mean, I feel it too. Shit. I mean, like I try to work better on controlling it. I mean, like I recognize it. I get it all the time. And like I mean, I'm very fortunate that I have such good relationships with my fans that so many of them
Mhm.
have turned into like best friends. And we're able to separate the artist rich from the friend rich, and they can come with me and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and they can check me on like, hey man, I saw what you said about this. This is kind of a stupid way to handle it. And I've had many times where I'm like, shit, yeah, you're right, man. Thank you. And like, and I mentioned earlier about martial arts. I've been training jujitsu now for probably getting close to 8.5 years, maybe 9 years. And the lessons of that alone, because like when you're training, man, I mean, the, you have to take critiques like when you're like, especially with like martial art, the training jiu-jitsu, man, like you can get hurt easily, right? So like I'm trying to actively strangle, break, or hurt this person. And like I want them to get
Yeah.
better so I can get better at what I'm doing, right? So like that being able to before I started training, I didn't have I wasn't as good with taking advice or but like being on the mats and getting beat up, like it's proof. Like I fucked up. You got fucking tapped out. You fucked up, right? When this person that did this to you says, "This is how I got you. Don't do that again." It helps me be a better
Hmm.
partner to that person, and that you know you do that enough, it bleeds over into the rest of your life. I mean, and it helps. Like, oh, I this is very translatable now. Like I can, oh yeah, I can try to approach life in many aspects in the same exact way. Friendships, personal
Yeah.
life, you name it.
It seems like you're kind of describing this relationship between the art, the community, and the collection and the
Yes.
collecting, and how
Hmm.
they flow in this like ebb and flow in this perfect
Yes.
thing.
Hmm.
I love what you're describing about how people who start out collecting or
Hmm.
doing whatever and then become these like friends.
Yeah.
I love that. You see that
Yeah.
at conventions a lot where people that
Yep.
you started with just an interview on the podcast or they bought a
Yeah.
toy and you see them regularly and
Yeah.
then you at the next convention spend 20 minutes just talking to them because you miss them.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I'm serious, man. Like I say the people I talk to now the most are are my fans. I mean, like
Hmm.
I don't mean like this like I have levels now of like this is the person I'm gonna see at conventions, we're friendly. Then this is the person I speak to, through Instagram daily. And then this is the person I have their personal text when they could text me personally. A lot of them
Yeah.
were all fans in some way, shape, or form, but like now I've had people come stay at my house for the weekend or like we'll go on vacations together. Like and like it's funny because like this last show, again, back to Japan, I had the first week I was there, I did a gallery show. Friends of mine, fans, they came out and they were at the gallery show buying or attempting to buy stuff of mine. And then when the show's over, we went out to dinner and I treated them to dinner. And it's like, and then we
Yeah.
s- so it's like it's a very unique situation, but I
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And it's just I think again, like I put all my dedication is into toys and some form.
Hmm.
The people I grew up with, they had different paths in life. I mean, so it would always be me talking about this part of my life and they couldn't relate to it, you know? And the more I got into this part of my life, some of the friends I grew up with, we've kind of, strayed away from each other because it's just our lives just changed, like, and over the years, I've gotten more friendships out of people in this community, whether it be some artist friends, a lot, I mean, like, again, too, like, you're this by the position alone, I'm gonna run into more fans than I would more artists, right? There's only X amount of artists, but there's, 100-fold fans. So I'm gonna run into more fans than artists,
Yeah.
period. So yeah, I have friends that are artists, but just by the way it works, I'm gonna have more friends that are fans that aren't artists at all. And I can go toy shopping with them. Like like in Japan, like I went, they came to my gallery show. They were trying to buy my art. And I'm able to separate myself. Hey, I'm at work now. This is the work side of Rich. Then when it was all said and done, we went to
Hmm.
Mandarake and hunted toys together for our own stuff. So it's like it's very fun, it's very unique. And again, I think it's just this part of life is this is how I approach that.
Yeah. You've created not only I what I love about seeing artists that have been here for a while is that you've created almost a blueprint of what it looks like to do toys. And that sounds so broad and sounds like, but it is a way to like that if you functionally don't know what you're doing, it's okay to look at this person and say, that's how I want to do
It's
things, or that's
yeah,
where I want to be. So how
yeah.
do I do it?
It's one way. right? I mean, like, there's a million ways to
Yeah.
skin a cat. I mean, like, at least with me, you can pick my brain, and I'm wide open for everybody to hear it. I'm a firm believer in, like, I don't think there's no there's mm, to me nowadays gatekeeping is a whole different thing, right? Like, it's not about like
Yeah.
controlling the whole like I don't want this person in. It's just like, no, I just want honest people in. It's not about like
Hmm.
I don't want to let nobody in. I just want to make sure that the people that I'm helping out with are not just here to get in and make a quick buck and get out. So yeah, I understand what gatekeeping is now. Like for the longest time, there'll be like artists that are bigger than me, and I'm like friends with them, and I'm like, man, why aren't they working with me or helping me out? And it's not that at all. It's just like it's just a lot of so there's times when they don't want to ruin that friendship. So they're like, I don't, by putting work in between us, that can cause, the potential for us to have a falling out. And I don't want that. Or it's just that, like they've seen it before me and they say, all right, he's getting there, just not yet. Like they still have a few more years to cook in that oven before like they could pull them out and they're ready for the world to see. So like, just keep cooking. There's a million different ways to you know that can help artists. So like this for that aspect that yeah that's all.
Yeah. I love the idea that you're saying that people will buy or try to buy some of your pieces and then you'll
Mm.
treat them to food or dinner. It's like that artist just paid for that dinner. Heck yeah. Like it's like that. I love that idea. Like, hey, come buy one of my toys, then I'm going to buy you dinner.
I think it's just an appreciative thing, man. Like I can't do that for fucking everybody. Clearly, right? I can't take all these fans out,
Yeah.
but like the people that I've known the longest, eventually we become on that level. And yeah, I just it's a little way I can give back. Like this to show you, hey man,
Yeah.
like I appreciate you, like honestly, and this is the least I can do to show you my appreciations for the support you give.
Yeah. Which I think is, I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do at
Yeah.
conventions, like go out to breakfast with people and do that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Um, I mean, Rich, you've given me 3 episodes.
Mm.
You have you've not wanted to plug yourself each time, which is so fun because you pass it down to other people, which I love. So I think how we're gonna end this one is I need you to think of one line, no commas, don't extend that, one line that you want everyone to know that describes you and your career. One line.
Genuine. I'm just put one
Get
word.
out of here. Yeah, I mean it's true because you on this side. Which if I can speak to that, like not only seeing like your passion and
Mm.
your like the business acumen that you've had to learn along the way and the desire to help other people and the desire to make a life better for yourself and better for your family and a land across the ocean, like all
Mm.
these things speak to a genuine love for what you do. And so if
Mm.
people don't get that from meeting you or like through an Instagram DM, I hope that they see that through these 3 videos that we've gotten to spend a couple hours just chatting because you really are genuine about what you do, why you want to do it, and really what it means to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, I think that's I don't need to give somebody this long speech or this quote. I mean, like to just be genuine. That's it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not that difficult. If what you're doing falls into that, you're gonna be okay. You just but if you're doing it for any possible other ulterior motives, it's not gonna work and it's not genuine. Just be genuine.
Yeah. Rich, thank you for doing the 3 episodes of Toys on Tap.
Thank you. I appreciate the time to do this. So thank you.